Hello and welcome to this Rox 3D Studio tutorial where I will go over some of the little extra bits of the Blender interface that I did not cover in the previous tutorial. These are workflow tips that I'd found out on my own by accident and thought I'd share them with you to help you along your way while you're learning Blender. So let's get started. So there are a few little things about the Blender interface that I did not go over in my previous tutorial where I covered the various parts of the interface and how you can customize the interface layout to suit your needs. We did go over the properties panel here on the right side of the 3D view, and also the tools panel, and also this properties panel, or I should say properties window, with its various tabs. And as you might have noticed in that last tutorial, that these panels are divided into sections, and you could call each one of these a panel. You can minimize them and open them up as you need to either organize everything, because sometimes if you have a bunch of them open, you're scrolling through a bunch of stuff, especially if you're not using that tool a whole lot. Just keep it minimized, and it kind of keeps your stuff organized. And this works across all of these windows here. And I did not want to render that. I got a little click happy there. You can also organize these panels by just clicking and dragging whichever tool panel. If you want something else at the top, then you can just drag it into position. This is kind of helpful, especially if you have, say, a bunch of these open and you're using a few of them, but maybe not all of them. And you might be using one at the bottom a lot, so why not move that towards the top where it will be accessible without having to scroll all the way down if you're using it a lot. So you can just drag it up to the top and it's accessible for you. Another cool little feature is on the tools panel here, where you have these tabs on the left, each containing their own little tool set. You can actually pin any of these panels so that when you click on another tab, it will still be visible. So let's say you're using the transform functions here, and you're also using the animation functions. Instead of clicking back and forth, you can shift left click to pin this panel, and it gets that little icon, the little pin icon there. And so when you switch over to your other tab, that transform tools is there. So you can basically just work out of this one tab without going back and forth. And you can also shift and left click again, and it will unpin it. You can also pin by just right clicking and selecting the little checkbox. And that's a handy little feature to keep you from having to go back and forth, which gets a little irritating when you're using the same tools for a certain section of your project, and it's just easier to pin one of these panels and work out of one tab. Another little thing you can do is, let's say you have a couple windows open, and as you can see, this menu toolbar at the bottom here is not all of the options are not fully visible. You just put your cursor over the bar, and you can use your scroll wheel to access any of the options along the bar. You can also, I think I went over this in my previous tutorial, but I can just show you since I'm here. If you get that little up-down arrow cursor over the separator there, you drag down and you can close that bar out, or open it back up with this little plus sign that sometimes is barely visible because either the window's in the way or something else, but it's going to be there. just like when you close the tool panel out, or the properties panel, you have this little plus sign that lets you open it back up. So those are just a few of the little, I'd say tips and tricks about the interface that you don't normally know right off the bat, and they're helpful because I found out scrolling along this bar by accident. Same with let's say this properties window. If you have it squished up like this, you can just scroll to access whatever you need, so you don't have to keep moving the window separators and dragging stuff around. You can just scroll and get to the tab that you need. So those are a little bit of workflow tips for you. I hope you found them helpful, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and click the little bell icon to be notified when I post new 3D modeling, gaming, or educational content. Until next time.